great match starting up right now with Mickey Krause and Nathan Childress, two young professionals. One is almost local-ish, being from Richmond, and of course Mickey is from Europe, so he's staying around Northland, I believe, a lot now, around Raleigh area. I like it. So he pushed into a kick shot, just made the kick a little bit easier, but there's, pushes are tricky, right? So you push into something where there's going to be a lot of randomness potentially to it. So I think in this case, he can kick and get the one down table, hopefully all the way to the end rail, and then maybe even slide the key behind where Mickey just put the 4. Very least, like, if you just kick it past the side pocket, it lands near the end rail. A lot of good things could happen here. Like I said, right behind the 4 ball, like that was great. Yeah, that was a tough one. I don't even know if he could have used center ball. He definitely aimed out wide and shortened it back up with inside English. If he could have used center at all, like, he was going to be totally jacked up, but I think the 4 was in the way of that angle. So Mickey ended up with a really, really good safety from that kick shot. It's a little straight here. That's a touch careless, but no big deal. Yeah. He's got himself in a tiny bit of trouble. So just that little bit careless getting straight in on the 5. Yeah, like he's going around 3 rails low left. I like that shot selection though. So you can cut this in and go around the ball. Go 3 rails, kind of back out towards the center of the table. Whatever he put on that ball, he should have probably put a little more outside English, and that would have made it go around the 8. I think you just want to bank the 8 down to the end rail underneath the 9. Yeah, rather than trying to make that ball, like, I think banking it 2 rails down under the 9 was the right shot. Got a little lucky though. Let's see. It's not easy to actually make this one. Might be kind of easy to make a good hit. He's got a chance to make it ball first or to the second rail first, but there's a lot of room to go in between them that way too. Yeah, so there's a lot of room for that to happen. sure they mentioned on the stream before, but this table of pockets are just a 1/4 inch tighter, so those type of shots, like, just it's harder to cheat the pocket and come around and do things like Nathan was trying to do there. It's kind of the only ball he's got to hit pretty good. He's got to go down the rail, come across for the 7. He's got a really nice angle, though, but you got to worry a little bit about the side pocket. He came up a touch short, and part of that's probably trying to, being a little bit worried about the side. Looks like he's still cutting it. He's young. He's got great eyes. He can cut these in pretty nice. For anyone that cuts a low percentage shot, you just bank the 7 down to the end rail underneath the 9 and bring your cue ball up table. Can you confirm before I send this? Stephanie? It's probably the right. Yeah.
Oh, that's supposed to be SL. It's just definitely something involved in SL.
Yeah. But this, yeah, it says Stephanie Wright, so not even Faulkner for last name either. So I just want to double check that. Yeah, that was a really nice save there. Pretty smart. When you really don't like your chances to hit a ball, sometimes that your best option is just tie balls up, make the run out at least more complicated. The bad part about this is the one, 1, 2, 3, 4 are all like really close together. So he should be able to get a good angle, even if he has to play a combination on the 4. But I think he's trying to avoid that, right? Because going from the 3 to the 4 is like basically a stop shot to have a nice angle on the 4 to run into the 5. So that's why he really worked to avoid that combo and got underneath the 2. Very nice shooting, very smart. So yeah, this one just like kind of stunned with some left English and probably run into the 5-6. It was a good shot. Hitting the 5 probably would have been a little more ideal, but obviously, like traveling 7 feet and going off a rail, like being that exact is tough. So hitting the 6 is not bad either. Very nice. He had a pretty easy safety as well, but if you're hitting the ball well, especially if you know how the tables play, and these diamonds usually make pretty consistent from one to the next. So I agree with his shooting at the bank in that case instead. He's just got to draw this straight out. They're so deep in the pocket. On Brunswick's, they used to never sit that deep. You could usually kind of catch the edge of the ball and come back up table, but they sit deep enough on diamonds that shot really plays totally different. You basically can't do it sometimes. if he's looking at, because you can just roll straight forward, play safe. But yeah, it looks like he's using extreme inside, trying to run into the 7 ball. Very nice. Even said there was no guarantee of anything good happening, but it was still a very productive shot. He's got to bank again. Maybe a 5 ball to help. If he missed it a little wide, I think that works too. Yeah, a little far here. Very nice. Yeah, it was an excellent position shot. Yeah, I don't know if that was a bit of a miscue or just lapping the stroke a little bit. Either way, like, he's not in trouble. It's just things aren't as easy as they should be. Wow, that ball really bounced off the rail there. He did hit it a touch harder than I thought he was supposed to, but the ball's really bouncing off the rail more than when we first got here. I think a lot of things change, like just the balls get, when they're really clean, they don't spring off the rail as much as once you play a match or two, they get a little dirtier, things change a little bit. And this is the type of thing that Nathan kind of, best part of his game really is just pocketing balls. He doesn't have to spin it, he doesn't have to do anything, he just has to make a really long shot. But said he's young, got great eyes, so he's really good at these. Today apparently he's looks like he's rushing a little bit, to be honest with you. The mental aspect, like he really believes, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe you're supposed to win. That means so much. When he thinks he's really supposed to win, he takes just a little more time, and he almost never misses a ball like that, even as tough as it was. This table does rack pretty tough. They're obviously like these guys. They know a lot about the rack. They break really well. Both of them a little bit struggling with the rack right now. That's a tricky spot here. I think he's trying to punch it all the way across and come between the 3 and the 7. Yeah, it was a hard spot, but there wasn't like a real natural safe that was just jumping out at me either. And had he hit that shot really well, he could have run out. Because it looks like the 2-5's dead. I guess we'll see in a minute. He should really get down to the loft. That's, I think, the angle's there. Here we can probably just follow straight to the long rail and down. There's something once in a while people overlook on these. If the get in position gets a little bit tricky, rather than trying to like finesse draw it, sometimes you can just follow through and double kiss the first object ball in these combos. Well, I guess the 5 wasn't lined up where it could be made, so he played a nice little safety. Real simple. I mean, he's not going to get ball in hand with that, but at least he's, making Mickey do something tricky a little bit. He's done that so far over. He's on the rail and on the wrong side of the ball, it looks like a little bit. And just follow straight through one rail and back out. But he's not going to, he's not going to, the 4 on the side like he could have potentially had if he stayed on the other end of the ball. So now he's going to make a pretty tough shot. Yeah, see, I think he's shooting just a little too fast, a little too careless, and that's not really his style. Like Mo named that one on the last match, that's definitely just his style. He just always plays like a real fast and loose. But most people, that's not how their best game is. Curious, he might have been trying to just barely nudge the 7 there to make it somehow better. But it looks like he can get under it or just run into it here, 2 rails into it. Oh, wow, the ball skidded a little bit, it looked like. Yeah, it looked like a skid there. I can't tell from here I don't think the 7's makeable. If it's not, he's not going to be able to get down and break it out. I don't think the carom on the 9 is easy either, so you just want to find the most natural angle to play a simple safety here. It's hard to see his angle, but I think he can just hit almost straight through the 7, just barely avoid the double kiss. Stay behind the 8-ball. Maybe it was makeable, and he just slightly undercut it. Like I said, it's hard to see from my angle. It looked really tight, like he might not have had much room to cut it, but I'm sure he did if he went for it. Well, he didn't scratch. I think he's still got a cut. Yeah, it looks like pretty natural to go 4 rails. He should go 1, 2, 3, 4. And be going right at the 9 almost after that. But yeah, ideally he would have shot that shot a little softer. But sometimes, with especially inside English too soft, the ball starts to kind of curve. I don't know if that was a skid again or just a miss. I think trying to hold it sometimes when the cut's too thin, letting your stroke out a little bit, going the 4 rails there would have been more natural, I believe. So 3-2 for Mickey now. Nathan's break go. Another surprising dry break from players this level. You don't see dry breaks that often. So this table's really racking, kind of tough. Doesn't look like there's an easy path, but maybe you can go top English and get underneath this 2-ball. No, maybe the 3 is in the way, so I'm just going to punch it and try to get down, straight down table. Very nicely done. That's pretty much, almost exactly where he was trying to get to. He's got the angle where he doesn't go into the 7 afterwards, leave the 7 alone. And maybe he wanted 1 more inch further down, so he could have been going towards the 3 a little better. So he had to accept a little bit of a long shot here, but if he makes this one, the rest should be really simple. Yeah, follow in between the 6 and the 9 and back out. Very nice. Yeah, it's a good habit. Walk around and really look where you need to be. Sometimes when you stay on the other end of the table, like your perspective's a little different and you're just an inch or 2 off of looking at where you really need to get to. So it looks like he didn't draw the ball, like he basically had a stop shot, maybe draw it an inch. He's going to probably kick this 2 rails thin and try to get the cue ball way up table, leave the 6 down here. Oh no, okay, he could see enough to play a simple little safe. Usually, yeah, you're hoping to get behind the 9 there, but as long as you pass the 9, it's not too bad. If you stay short of the 9, you just leave him where you can cut it right up the rail. So probably Nathan's going to bank the 6-up table. So you could go offense, but I think trying to get the cue ball back behind the 9, 6-up table is the better shot. That's it. I think he got him. I couldn't tell. He might have rolled it by just a tiny bit. Yeah, like he's looking like he can just shoot at it. Even if he can, like, difficult shot. No bargain either. Leaving him on the rails, so really, he's not going to want to elevate and stun it across. That makes the shot so much more difficult. So I think he's just got to accept rolling it in softly. Yeah, I mean, I guess if he rolled it in soft, he would have a pretty tough cut on the 7 still. So he wanted to come around 3 rails and get more perfect. The shot was there, but it wasn't a natural angle. You had to hit it really hard for that. Oh, thanks for everyone for tuning in, by the way. We're over 100 viewers now, which we absolutely should be when we got 2 professional players like this. One former Mosconi Cup player from Europe and one who's one of the top young American contenders to start making the Mosconi Cup in the next couple of years. Who's got a legit chance to do it. Really nice young guy, too, so I like to see Nathan do well. Yeah, I don't know if a little fatigue setting in or what, but Mickey's game's been a little bit off here today. At this match, at least. Yeah, we kept it simple. That's the type of safe I've been talking about. Where usually, like if the cut's a little too low percentage on one, that Nathan sliced in earlier, he could have played that exact safe if he didn't feel good about the cut. And it was real difficult just because of the distance. Like at best, he's going to play a real weak safety. There's no way to play a really good one necessarily from here. Maybe he's just trying to bank it in. Yeah, I don't blame him. When the safety was going to be, low percentage anyway, trying to hit it that thin from that far down table or anything along those lines is so difficult. You might as well go for the offensive shot sometimes. Yeah, he committed to those 2, that's for sure. I said sometimes before it looked like he was playing just a little fast and just wasn't committed to the shot because his pitch shit so straight. Like, when he commits 100%, like he's almost never going to hit a ball very. So he's really taking his time here, and they're halfway through the match. They're tied up, so he knows, if he can start breaking well, that's such a huge advantage. I mean, these guys are both capable of running racks for sure, but when the table's racking tough, like, I don't blame him for really taking his time and trying to get him to rack a little better. Especially on tight pockets. If they're not racked well, like, you just have less chance of the balls randomly going in if the wing ball doesn't go. On big pockets, they can rack poorly. You just hit them hard and you're probably going to make something anyway. See if the wing ball goes this time. I bet you balls at least move more, and I think there's a pretty high percentage chance the wing ball flies right in this time. So 5 should go in the corner. It actually hit low. Yeah, this table really having trouble rocking. Like I said, both these guys hit the one pretty square, hit it pretty hard. He left a shot, but it's not an easy one. I wonder if, because he's not elevating, I wonder if just going back across, maybe run into the 5. Yeah, so I think he was looking at running into the 3 instead of 5. Less chance of scratching running into the 3. So good decision on his part, and just didn't hit it quite right to make that happen. A lot of balls to get behind here, so if you just jump it and bank it down the table rather than even trying to make it, it's probably what he's looking at doing. Leave the cue ball up here where the 2 is, like near the 4 or something like that. Yeah, I think he's looking at the angle. He doesn't want to come off the 2 and scratch. If he's cutting the 2 to the left a little bit, and the cue ball's going to the right a little bit, or to our left, his right, it could go kind of right at the corner. So I think he was looking at that to avoid that. Yeah. So I think he tried the shot I was talking about. He just didn't get the 2 ball down quite as far as he was hoping. Good shot, kind of bad roll. Yeah, I think this way, kicking at it's got a little better chance of getting a good result instead of kicking down to the short rail and shooting the 3 ball up towards the 7. Yeah, it was always tricky. So top inside you. Not much inside, just straight top. But that's fine. And he's got to come back a little. He wants to be pretty straight in on this 5 ball. So. Yes, I think the little inside on the 3 to get straight on the 4 would have been a little better. So he could have been a touch straighter on this 5. So it's just awkward enough, like you can't really slow and hold it quite like he was hoping to. He did about the best he could and still has a little bit of more angle on the 6 than he would have liked. But yeah, probably just one rail softly, one rail straight up. Oh, no, sometimes players' preferences, and sometimes it really seems just smarter in general. The ball won't skid as much when you hit it a little firmer. You get to let your stroke out, hit it with more confidence. So he chose to go 2 rails rather than holding it, but overran it just a little. This ball's playing like really sticky right now. And the balls were clean when we got here, but it's just that it's playing a little dirtier, a little stickier. So it's bouncing a little more than it did this morning. Like even that 7 ball shot, it just bounced, so it overran where he wanted on the 8. That one overran where he wanted on the 9. The ball's really bouncing a lot more off the rail now than it did this morning for some reason. Temperature change, there's a few more people in the room. It adds to the humidity and everything as well, but it's very noticeably different the way it's rolling off the rail. I still like Nathan's chances to cut this in now. Like I said, this normally the type of thing he just doesn't miss too many of these medium difficulty shots. They're still not hard for him. He's young, he plays pool about every day. Take it. Yeah, looking at running into the 3, it looked like. That way he doesn't have to play a 3-4 combo. Yeah, at least as far as jumps go, this doesn't look bad. It looks like just maybe even over a half a ball, throw the whole ball, two's right in front of the pocket. Yeah. Essentially just a stop shot. You just had to elevate a little. So his draw shots come up short a few times here. Again, this isn't terrible, like as far as the shot, but the angle now. So now it's like the cue balls want to go down towards the 9 instead of come straight through. You just want to get, draw it back like 3 inches. That's one of the signs of the cue ball being dirty as well. Like, so it's not anybody's fault. Like the owner took good care of the tables and cleaned the balls. Like they were nice when we got here. Everything was like shiny and clean and played really well. But sometimes just as you play, for a while, people's hands are a little, sticky, whatever. That stuff gets on the ball. So he made a nice recovery, just a little further away from the 6 than he should have been, but he hit the 5 as well as he could. I know Mickey spent some time, in other countries, especially, like, if he's spent any time in one of the more humid Asian countries, the tables tend to play like this a lot because of the humidity. And they don't clean the balls as often as they usually do in America and Europe. So you really should be able to adjust to this sort of thing very well, actually. Yeah, nice recovery there for sure. So 4-4 now, I believe. All right, so let's see. There's been, 6 dry breaks in a row, something very rare for guys at this level. That time the wing ball flew right in. He stopped the cue ball perfect. It got bumped around afterwards, but the cue ball was basically dead center. It was an excellent break. Can't tell if that 4 goes, but just a little low outside here to get onto the 3. And again, it went a little too far. See that part, when the tables get tricky like this a little bit, when the cue ball gets dirty, you have to hit it so hard to draw the ball. And he just needed a little bit of draw for that shot, but he had to hit harder than he would have 2 hours ago. So it made it bounce off the rail. And if you hit it any softer, the draw wouldn't have, still been there by the time you made it all the way to the 3, or to the 1 ball, sorry. shot that was. And, how much was planned to get exactly there, going off the second object ball, but he got perfect. And he might even plan it exactly like that. I honestly couldn't tell. And this will certainly be a up and down shot. Might even hit the rail again where the 7 ball's at. See, that's what I was thinking, because it's playing so bouncy, maybe trying to get that third railing back up might have been even better than just going to 2 in that case. So it's interesting, actually. Somebody just texted me asking about virtual pool lessons, which I have not been doing that yet, but I'm working on something with it. I've got someone to help me set up some things. I do give pool lessons like all the time in person, usually out of my house. I got a 9-foot table at home in Raleigh. But yeah, hopefully I'll get set up to do virtual pool lessons at some point soon. Nice break, pretty wide open. Actually, no. The room where Nathan plays in Richmond, the tables seem to get like this quite a bit. They got a red label diamond still, or 3 of them, I believe. And the red labels generally play a little bit springier anyway. And so I think he might be somewhat used to these conditions still, even though I know he's got a nicer, newer cloth table at home. But the main pool room, Diamond Billiards, in the Midlothian area in Richmond, the red labels play a little extra bouncy. Overhit it a little bit. Yeah, so the table's just playing really bouncy, and they're just not quite getting dialed in. Some major adjustments need to be made sometimes when it's playing like that. Boy, it's concerned still slicing this one in. I'm looking at going just dead straight back and forth across, but man, it's hard to get your speed right when you're cutting one that thin, so. But if he can make it, at least he should have something on the 7 ball. Again, if he doesn't feel good about making it, just put the 5 on the end rail. You can get the 8, 9 in between. Yeah, that's. Like I said, it was just hard to be real dialed in on your speed on a shot that thin, especially when the rails are playing funny to begin with, or the ball's bouncing a little extra. I mean, same thing. You just got to go back and forth and kind of take his chances. At least this way, there's no way to be hooked if he cuts this in. Yeah, a little heartbreaking. He made such a good couple of shots in the 5 and 7. The 8 wasn't easy either, but that's, like I said, the type of thing I really expect him to make almost every time. So, even now when he's looking at it, the look on his face, like he was so much closer to the side pocket than he expected. Yeah, it's really just not playing like it did his first match. Nice lead. Looks like kicking in between the 5 and the 9. I think in this case, I think you want to hit that object ball really, really full and kick it, down to where he's standing now and have the cue ball basically stop there. That's almost what he did. He was just a hair off. Shot there, he was a little straight in, so he had to really punch again, like the one rail. I think he draws it across and back and forth 2 rails probably. Yeah. Very nice. And just use a little outside and go 2 rails directly out to 7. Great position there. nice one. It's just stop shot, stop shot. Well, congrats to Mickey. Both very good players. Both struggle with the rack, so it was kind of good to get to see a little more safety play, a little more stuff that they'd actually think about than when they break the balls, like make 2 or 3 and everything's super wide open. So pretty enjoyable match, actually. Who's going to be up next?
You got 2 races to 6.
Okay, so we have the next one up will be the winner of Steve Page and Jason Rogers. It looks like it's 5-3 right now. I'm not sure who's winning that one. And the winner of that's going to play Monet. Monet is the one that's real fast and loose style, a lot of fun to watch, and played an excellent match against Justin on this table just a little while ago.
Have a little microphone so you can tell them.